What's up, fishing family? Hope you guys are doing well. Hey, we are back from a Father's Day weekend. Hey, we're back in the creek. Had a great time with my dad for his birthday, and it's time to get back to some videos. Today, we're going to be discussing how to fish these stained water conditions. Tennessee just seems to keep getting a ton of rain right now, and it's all coming in on Thursday and Friday right before the weekend, when is my only opportunity to get to fish. That's not going to stop me. I just have to know how to alter my tactics to catch those fish. We're going to discuss that in today's video. Let's get to it. All right, fishing family. Hey, so when the water clarity is bad, the water conditions are not ideal, you know what we need to do? It's time to make some noise and move some water. Now, I generally opt for spinnerbaits, buzzbaits, Whopper Ploppers. I know that these fish are going to activate to where they're no longer sight fishing because of the water clarity is so low. They're going to start using that lateral line. Therefore, I want a lure that's going to throw off a vibration that they can sense. Now, I can fish chartreuse, orange baits like that. The problem is sometimes those baits might be moving kind of quickly through the water, and those fish more than likely are not going to chase those baits. Therefore, they're only going to see it that really quick second when it floats past them. And if they've got to chase it out in current, it's likely that they're going to kind of stay localized to where they're sitting, and they might not chase it. Whereas if I'm fishing something like a spinnerbait or buzzbait, at least they're sensing that vibration long before that bait is close to them. Therefore, I feel like it increases the chance that I might actually get them hooked up. So let's get down here, let's start digging into this and figure it out. All right, guys. All right, so when we're dealing with these type of conditions, we're definitely going to be limited on really where we can cast. I'm on day 2 after the storm. As you can see, my water clarity is not back yet. I've still got quite a bit of flow, and generally in creeks, I find that fish really get kind of back in their channels about on day 3. So with that being said, I'm really going to have to target breaks, eddies, any spot where that current's a little bit slower. I'm going to have to work this bait slower too, because on day 2, they're not back in their complete channels. I do tend to notice that the fish are not as aggressive and will just chase your bait across that current. They're going to stay kind of localized in behind those breaks or eddies. There's a bite right there. So see right there. So that guy was right back there in that eddy. That's exactly where he was sitting. All right, let's get him down here. But there we go. We got our first little guy, little rock bass. He was sitting right over there in that eddy right there. So that's exactly where I was anticipating him sitting. All right, so let's go back over there again. Got the one little rocky over there. Let's see if we can get a smallie sitting back in there. I do really think that these guys are going to be sitting within those breaks, eddies, pools where that water's slower. I'm also going to have to work the bait quite a bit slower, because I tend to notice that the fish on like around day 2, until the water really gets back clear and slows down, they're not really going to chase those baits out across the creek into a lot of current. One, the visibility is still low, so I think from a self-preservation standpoint, those fish can't see as good. During this time frame, they're not sight fishing, they're relying on their lateral lines to feel vibrations. That's another reason I'm going to be fishing spinner baits. I can work these really slow. It's going to throw off vibration. They're going to be able to feel that. All right, guys, another thing you need to keep in mind is the depth of water that you're fishing on the days that that water is cloudy. If it's really deep, it's possible that light's not going to penetrate deep enough down into the water to be effective to reflect light off of these chrome blades. So in that scenario, you want to opt for the painted blades. This chartreuse or this orange on this firebug color is a great option to use. You're still getting the benefit from the vibration, but you're also picking up the benefit from that flashy color that just one more item those fish are going to be able to clue into that's going to help on the bite. So keep that in mind. All right, so as of right now, this black and yellow spinnerbait, this is definitely something good. On these stained water conditions, you definitely want to make sure you've got something that's going to be throwing off vibration and add some color to it. Firebug's a great color I like to use for smallies. There we go. There we go. Dang, this one feels pretty dang good. Woo! He's fighting good. All right, he's sitting. All right, so they are kind of starting to sit where I'm anticipating them. All right, come back here. Let's get you over here. I'm gonna keep my rod tip low. I don't want this guy jumping out, throwing my hook. Let's keep my net ready. All right, buddy, get on out of that current. Golly, he's fighting hard. Come on, buddy. Let's not waste this much. Let's not waste this much energy. God, this guy's fighting so hard. On top of just the current. I mean, he's only, what is he? He might only be. Come here, buddy. All right. Whew. All right. Man, this little dude, let me keep him in the water. He fought hard, so let me make sure he's getting reoxygenated. All right. Right there. Got him on the old spinnerbait. Get that out of your mouth, buddy. All right. Let me put him back down in here for a second. Let him revive, because that was an extremely hard fight for him. But as you can see, definitely where I'm starting to think they were going to be setting, he definitely was in front of this choke point. Now, big fish, a lot of times when you're looking at choke points, if you're in the back of a pocket, that's generally where your bigger smallies will set, and your smaller guys would tend to sit in the front side of that pocket. All right, let's get this guy back on his way. Very nice. For whatever reason, they tend to separate themselves. So on the front side of this pocket up here, I would expect to find my smaller guys. But when you get closer to the back of this choke point, that's where those bigger guys will post up. They're waiting for stuff that's getting dislodged, especially on a day like this where they're still not really actively sight fishing with that clear water. They're going to be setting up in the back of these choke points in rocky structure. That's another thing you want to make sure. If you're just fishing a section that chokes down, but there's nothing there, it's just flat bedrock, there's nothing for those fish to sit there behind a break. Once again, these are predators. They're going to ambush stuff. So days like this, those fish want to be behind structure. They're going to want to sit in behind those rocks for that break, so that they're not wasting all those calories. A little fish comes by, they can scoot over, get him, and pull right back into their cover. So this is definitely ideal. I'm going to keep fishing this. This is starting to work for me. So on days like this, I will get out and experiment first. I know for sure in these stain conditions, I'm going to have to fish something that's going to throw off vibration. Whopper Plopper, buzzbait, spinnerbait. I opted for the spinnerbait first because I can work between the three. I can work the spinnerbait slower than I can the buzzbait or the Whopper Plopper. I can run this on the bottom where those fish might be hugging down there, see if it works. I'm going to try different sections. I'm going to try current. I'm going to try outside of current. I'm going to pay really close attention once again to those first couple fish that I catch. That's going to be my clue to see where the rest of those fish are setting. If there's 5 or 6 fish that I've caught smallies that are sitting in the back of these pockets within structure, then I know the rest of them are probably going to be doing the exact same thing. So now I know how to adjust my tactics the rest of the day until something else changes. As of right now, this spinnerbait with this black and yellow with a little bit of tinge of stain I've got in here, it's working. We're going to stick with it. Let's find some bigger ones now. That was a good fight. All right, so that's the first sign that I can kind of tell these fish are kind of starting to get out of that post-spawn phase. They should already be done. They should already have gone through their recovery period. which will take a couple weeks. A lot of times those fish are just going to take it easy, recover. They're kind of depleted of a lot of energy, so they're not going to go out and just go gangbusters. They're going to go probably change up their foraging habits. They might just forage for crawdads or things on the bottom, hellgrammites, little bait fish. They're not going to waste a lot of calories, but once they get fully recovered from that post-spawn phase, man, then those guys will turn on. It seems like, we'll see, they're starting to sit where I'm anticipating them now. They're definitely going to be around current, definitely in these breaks. Even with the stained water, they're still going to be close to those same locations. They're just going to more than likely post themselves up a little bit further outside of that current. I'm just going to slowly walk and cast as I'm making my way to the back of the choke point. Let's just see if I've got some guys sitting down here at the back of this pocket. There should be. I think you might have some here, maybe on this inside left side. I've got some slack water there. I know that there's some chunky rock there because I walked down this side of it. So I definitely want to fish down this left side before I walk too close down there. So we'll see. I really do expect fish to be there. I thought there would be something sitting right here. Slow my retrieve down a little bit more. And that current's going to be working those willow blades and Colorado, so I can work it slower. I know they're going to be feeling that vibration. As long as I just keep it up off the bottom. All right. Yep, right there. Right there. Right there. He was right there on the inside. Okay. All right. So he was sitting right here on the inside of this break. He's definitely staying out of the... Oh, that's a pretty good one. Pretty good one. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Oh, this water's muddy and I can't see. Come here, bud. Come here. Come here. Don't get back out there in that current. Don't get out there in that current. Come here, bud. Get back over here. Yeah. Don't jump. All right. Yes, sir. Okay. So here we go. Once again, those big fish will like to sit back here in the back of these pockets. And right here, there you go. There's proof of it, man. Our big one, he was sitting right in the back of that pocket. Here, bud. Let me get you unhooked real quick. So you weren't coming unpinned. Let me be easy on you. Here, let me put you down in here real quick. Hold on. Hold on. Let me try to get you unpinned. I'm trying to get you unpinned easy as possible. There we go. There we go. All right, let me let this guy revive for a second, and then we'll get a picture with him. Woo! All right, he's got a lot of energy. But he was sitting exactly where I thought. So, back of the pocket, right on the inside of this current, man, he was sitting right on the seam right here. You can see a little seam right there. He was sitting right on the inside of that. Man, oh man. Yeah, buddy, that's what we're talking about right there. Very nice. Nice 16-inch creek smallie. All right, buddy. Let's let you get on your way. Go on, buddy. Thank you for the fight. All right, so let's break this down. So we're in the back of our pocket. This is where I anticipate the bigger guys are going to sit during the summer months. In the front of your pocket, you can see up here behind me, this is where your smaller guys should be sitting. Now, we didn't get a single bite up there. It could be, once again, because I don't have enough structure up there to serve as brakes for those smaller guys to sit behind. But once again, these bigger guys will sit back here in the back of this section. There's a little seam line you can see right here. There's a seam you can see right here where that current is flowing, and it's a little more slack on this inside. He was sitting right on the inside of this seam, watching directly into that current, conserving energy over here. And man, this spinnerbait came through there and he popped it. Man, that was a good fight. Wow. All right, good deal. All right, so this is good. I like to be able to feel like I'm making the right calls. I feel like now we're definitely getting into that summer mode. Now I know where fish are going to be setting, whether I'm dealing with clear conditions or stained conditions. we can't control the weather, and it seems like here in Tennessee recently, every Thursday and Friday, I only get to fish on the weekends. So every Thursday and Friday, it seems like we're in a cycle of rains coming through. It's getting our creek stirred up or blown out. And we got to just know how to adjust our fishing tactics. So spinnerbait, buzzbait, top water, something flashy color. We can even fish those soft plastics in our really bright chartreuse or our bright orange. But I felt like today, this is still a little too much current. So I felt like I need a little bit of vibration. That spinnerbait's going to throw that off. I know those fish are still really going to be relying on that lateral line in these low light conditions to be able to find their meals. Hey, we're on them. This is working. Let's keep going. We're going to find another big one. That was a good one right there. So when it comes to my 3 top lures, when I'm dealing with stained water conditions, I want a spinnerbait, I want a buzzbait, and I also want a Whopper Plopper. All 3 of those serve a purpose. The spinnerbait, I can work really slow on the bottom. If those fish are hugging the bottom, I can try to use that to get those fish up off the bottom. The buzzbait, I can work this about middle of the water column to top water. I can vary my retrieve and see how the fish, if they're not being really aggressive, sometimes I'll slow my retrieve down and drop it subsurface and work it almost like an inline spinner. And last but not least, the Whopper Plopper, which of course, if the bites are really being aggressive, you're going to be just working that and burning that on the surface. Once again, I'm going to vary my retrieve, whether it's really burning it or just working it slow based on how aggressive the bite is. But for that reason, that's why I choose the 3. Therefore, I can work the bottom of the creek, center of the water column, and the very top. I can kind of adjust my tactics based on the fish's aggression, based on the water clarity on that given day. So, all right, let's keep going. All right, let's see. We're gonna try right over here. Let's see. We've still got current over there. So I'm just gonna work this buzzbait different speeds. I'll work it on the surface, and then I'll work it subsurface as well. I'm just watching for that bite to let the fish tell me how aggressive they're being. If they're not being super aggressive, I'm gonna slow the retrieve down and drop it subsurface, work it under the water. If they're being real aggressive, then I can go ahead and work it almost like a Whopper Plopper. I can just burn that thing on the surface, creating a bunch of chaos, trying to draw those fish in. Water's clearing up pretty good. Oh, there we go. There we go. He got it. He got it. All right, we just got our first fish on the buzzbait. I figured this would work since the spinnerbaits were working. I'm working it just a little bit slower. Come here, buddy. Golly. He's out in the current, so I'm fighting him a little. Come here, buddy. There you go. There you go. Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Moment of truth. There we go. All right. All right, hold on, buddy. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Let's not thrash and hit your eye with that buzzbait. All right. All right, there we go. Got him on the buzzbait. Little bitty guy. All right, let's get him on back in there. Thank you, buddy. Now, he didn't really go crazy explosive on it. He was kind of picking and popping at it, and he finally got it. I'll be curious to see if we get any other bites, if they're super aggressive, those nice just top water explosions, or we just gonna kind of get those little pecks. If I'm just getting those little pecks, now that's going to kind of tell me they're not being real aggressive. That's where a lot of times I'll switch back to a buzzbait. That way, not only can I work it on the surface, but I can also slow my retrieve down and drop it below the water surface as well and kind of work it like an inline spinner. So we'll see. I'm just paying attention to how these fish are reacting to the lures, what their bite's like. All right, let's see. This water's running pretty fast, so I'm not really going to be able to fish this Whopper Plopper upstream ahead of myself. I'm really having to cast either straight across, that way I can pull it against the current. It's going to be moving too fast if I'm casting upstream and trying to retrieve it to myself, plus keep tension on my line. These Whopper Ploppers, you definitely have to make sure you're keeping your tension on your line. Let's see here. There was a little, oh, there was a little bite. Oh, we do have one. We got one. Oh, yeah, buddy. Got us a Whopper Plopper bite. This is the first Whopper Plopper bite I've had all summer. All right, let's get this guy in. Come here, buddy. Come here, brother. Let's see if I got you on this one. So I've got this one. All right, he's on the, looks like he's on the, he's got the tail in his mouth. Hang on, buddy. Hold on, let me. You got a big, I got you hooked both places. Hang on, let me get my single hook out first. And then let me get my little treble out. Hold on, but hold on. There we go. Hold on, don't move on me. Don't move. Let me get that Whopper Plopper clear. You got a big old crawdad in your mouth. All right. I'll show you real quick. All right. Pretty little guy. He's got a crawdad in his mouth, so I'm gonna let him go real quick. I don't want him spitting his meal up. I'm always extremely careful when I'm fishing Whopper Ploppers. I actually change out the belly hook to a wide gap wacky hook. I do have a treble on the back on this one. He actually come up and got the whole thing, so I had him on one of the hooks on the treble, and I had him in the corner of the mouth on this one as well. I always keep my forceps with me when I'm dealing with treble hooks. I have a little bit of shyness when it comes to treble hooks, but hey, all right, we've got our first bite. I kind of felt like once I got down here in this little bit slack water, I might have a chance. Well, hey, that definitely confirmed it. Very nice. Let's see, this one I keep smelling. That is very florally. What is that, a mimosa tree? Is that what they call those? I'll have to look it up. I think that's from a mimosa tree. Very nice. All right, there's my 12 Oaks Go Shed Whopper Plopper. All right, fishing family, we're gonna wrap it up. I hope this information will help you. Now, when you're stuck in like a weather vortex like we are here in Tennessee, you don't have to sit on the couch. You can actually get out there and have some success. At least now you know what lures to fish and where to target these fish in the creeks. I hope this information helps you guys. Hey, till next time, grab your poles, call your buddies. You have to make some memories. Give me some elbow. Boom! All right, I love you guys. Be safe. We'll see you on the next video.